Not many people saw that result coming. West Ham 3, Arsenal 0 is how it... Well, Arsenal won. I've got the Odegaard goal late on at the London Stadium. West Ham then through to the next round. Arsenal out. Craig, big deal?
No, I don't think so, actually. I think obviously, clearly, he would have wanted to go all the way if he could, but I just think they're fighting so many other important fronts this year. They're in the Champions League. They've got to go one better in the league to pit Man City, obviously. But it's a surprise. I just don't think it's going to be a huge deal for the Arsenal fans, to be honest with you.
Shaq?
Yeah, no, I agree. Listen, Arsenal are competing on so many different fronts that mean more to the club, more to the fans. This, of all those competitions, is the one that you're happiest to make wholesale changes, and if you are to crash out early in one, it'll be this one. He made changes and trying to rescue a dire situation later on, but I think that was more token than it was in any real expectation.
Quite something from West Ham, of course, who lost against Everton at the weekend, coming in and doing that then against Arsenal.
Yeah, David Moyes against Arteta. Of course, he had Arteta as a player at Everton, so that they know each other pretty well. This is sort of West Ham in a nutshell, isn't it? In some sense, they have some big results, and then they have some poor ones that come out the blue. Bearing in mind their XG at half-time was 0. They never created anything. A couple of really good goals in the second half. A little bit lucky with the deflection. It was a small deflection on the Jared Bowen strike, but it was a good strike. But to concede 3 for Arsenal, even though you make all those changes, is still not ideal. And I suppose for Aaron Ramsey coming in with everybody saying, well, David Raya, should he be the number one? Is he the better goalkeeper? Not blaming him at all, but at the end of the day, he's lost 3 goals, so not an ideal.
Did you say Aaron Ramsey there? I think you said Aaron Ramsey,
Him as well.
Yeah, coming in for goal and for Arsenal, that's pretty good.
I was more focused on XG.
I'm all about XG.
Yeah, right. Let's take you through the highlights then of West Ham's comfortable victory in the end over
I've already told you what happened.
16 minutes into this one. This would be the goal that would open the scoring.
Yes,
with the own goal, should have been disallowed. No
even
VAR,
the most stubborn of us will eventually turn around and say, yeah, it does have quite a
the fact that you were in denial for so long is quite shocking.
I don't know why that was at all surprising. I'm a man well known for my denials, Craig.
Just a reminder then, no VAR across the competition until the semi-finals. We were expecting a response then in the second half from Arsenal, but it was West Ham who'd get the goal 5 minutes after the break.
Deep ball for Kudus. I mean, his first touch here takes him past Zinchenko and then through the defender's legs. Nice finish. As a player, I like a lot in Kudus.
And then Bowen will make it 3-0. Slight deflection here, Shaq.
Yeah, which is unfortunate for Ramsdale. I think he had it covered, but then the little nick and only able to get the forearm onto it. But that's, for me, nothing you can blame the goalkeeper for there, despite how it looks. Really.
Arsenal will get a consolation goal late on. Odegaard, of course, given a few minutes, but in the end it was too little, too late from Arteta's side.
Oh yeah. He had a free kick just before this. Odegaard took it, hit the wall, so nothing more than scant consolation for a not very good night for Arsenal on the road.
So, West Ham, 3 shots on target, 3 goals.
Efficient.
All right, Shaq, thank you very much for that. For that input. We've seen West Ham, of course, quite happy for the opposition to have plenty of possession. Is this a distraction for David Moyes' team going forward, considering their involvement in Europe?
No, listen, I think West Ham aren't going to be competing near the top of the Premier League. Survival is as much as you could expect, unlike a couple of seasons ago when we were toying with top 4 at one point and eventually top 6. You saw him make changes in the Europa League. I think that as that competition advances, again, he plays a stronger team, certainly than you saw away to Olympiacos. And these kinds of competitions are club like West Ham's best chances for winning silverware. And I think that's, as you go deeper in this competition, that's the thinking here. One, albeit lower level European competition last season, significant domestic silverware, I think is exactly what David Moyes and his squad will be thinking of right now.
Overall for Arsenal, of course, they've got priorities elsewhere. Just a reminder, there are other Carabao Cup matches going on at the moment that you can watch here on ESPN+, including Manchester United, who are losing as it stands 2-0. Meanwhile, you take a look at the Arsenal starting 11. We're wanting to see Kai Havertz maybe shine, and once again, he's the shadow of the player.
Well, I don't think he did. I mean, we weren't. I'd be lying to say this was the only game we had the eyes on, but it clearly didn't have much of an effect. I mean, it's a strong side as well, really and truly, a pretty strong side.
A strong squad, I think Arteta's built here. So even though he's made a lot of changes, it still presents as a pretty strong side.
I think it's one of those games where a manager looks at it and goes, right, you know, my squad players, guys that I might have to rely on the bench. I mentioned before this game started about the injury, in particular to Gabriel Jesus, and how difficult that could be for Arsenal going forward if A, he doesn't get himself fit consistently, and B, they have to go into the market possibly in January to try and fix that problem. Yes, Eddie Nketiah could do a job, and it might be Kai Havertz, but somebody's going to have to do it. But it's the fringe players, when a game like this happens, the manager goes away and says, right, not sure I can trust him, and him. And they got a big game at Newcastle at the weekend. They travel up to St James's Park. They're going to have to bounce back from this and need to put a run together, and that's just not going to be an easy place to go.
Of course, we've been covering all of the Carabao Cup matches that have been taking place this afternoon. In case you've missed any of them, let's bring you up to date with exactly what has been going on. Let's start off with a game that's just finished, shall we? At the Vitality, Bournemouth taking on Liverpool. Liverpool in quite a strong side. It'd be Gakpo who would eventually put the ball into the back of the net after a bit of pinball in the box.
Yeah, a lot of deflections on the way through. Keeper makes his save, but can only parry it just in front of him. Understandably, I feel for the goalkeeper there, but credit to Gakpo, who just reacts quickest, finds the back of the net.
Bournemouth, though, looking to make a game of it, and they would get the equaliser just past the hour mark. Kluivert.
Set piece, deep corner, you see the conditions. Keeper gets caught under the ball, and then Kluivert just far post. Easy header from a tight angle.
A nice celebration, however, it would only stay level for about 6 minutes because then Nunez does this.
Starting to hit his straps, isn't he? Getting more confident. Every game we know he can run in behind, he's quick, he's powerful. If he adds this on a consistent basis, Liverpool are going to have a good season.
Liverpool then through, looking to join them either Chelsea or Blackburn. Blackburn sitting 12th in the Championship. Chelsea with a penalty claim here. Remember, there's no VAR. You take a look at that. The replay shows it should have been a pen.
Yeah, Raheem Sterling just far too quick. Defender commits. It's just a weird challenge. He's nowhere near the ball. Goes into Raheem Sterling. Not sure why it wasn't given.
Badiashile, though, would open the scoring for Chelsea here.
No VAR, and the keeper will be hoping there's no replays. Have a look at
there
this.
are replays.
Just sort of shovels it out. I don't know what he's trying to do. Shout.
I don't know where he's going with his left hand there. It's really weird.
So that would make it 1-0 to Chelsea. Now at the other end, Blackburn wanted a penalty for a handball here.
Looked to me as if it was by his side.
Let's take a look.
Ooh.
Just a trailing arm extended.
VAR would say that's a penalty.
No idea.
But there is no VAR, no penalty given.
No.
Just let it get. I mean, just referee the game with the naked eye. Get rid of VAR altogether.
And then a bit of a gift here. Raheem Sterling does well, doesn't he? As Blackburn trying to play out from the back.
Yeah, this is hard to explain. I mean, trying to play out from the back. One pass later, Chelsea are in possession. Raheem Sterling with a really nice finish past the keeper, who's trying to make back the ground, getting in between his sticks.
Chelsea then with the win. Now two teams who will be looking to avoid a relegation come the end of the season. Everton taking on Burnley at Goodison. Everton would take the lead here in the 13th minute. Tarkowski with a goal to make it 1-0 against his former club.
It's such a nice header. This cross has just stood up, and Tarkowski, 10 yards, 12 yards out, somehow has to generate his own power, gets really good direction on it.
Into the second half we go. Onana with the final touch to make it 2-0.
Yep, what is he? 3 yards out, little flick. Thank you very much.
And then late on, Actually young, must be a while since we've seen him score a goal, would make it 3-0.
Nice little run in at the near post, good ball to pick him out. And then just, once he gets this little touch, really nice finish.
So Everton through to the next round. No respite from Burnley in the Cup, then struggling in the league as well. A lot of work for Vincent Kompany's side to do. Meanwhile, Ipswich looking good in the Championship, aren't they? Sitting second. They'd have fancied their chances against Fulham. Then a goalkeeper gets involved, and it would be Harry Wilson who would open the scoring for the visitors.
I'm really not sure how Ipswich get caught that thing at the back. That being said, keeper then commits and makes this really easy for Wilson. Gets nowhere near and then just has to tap it into an empty net.
Things would get better then for Fulham as we would take it into the second half, where in the 50th minute Muniz would make it 2-0.
Yeah, they've not been great in the Premier League this year, Fulham, so I think they'll take anything to get the season really up and running. Obviously going in against a good championship, really good championship side.
And then a place in the next round would be guaranteed then as Kearney makes it 3-0.
Fulham, you see the difference in the leagues here. Fulham just looking so good on the counter. They know where the spaces are. Kearney picks one out.
Baggett would get a consolation there. Right to the late game, Manchester United taking on Newcastle. Both sides making changes going into the kick-off, but it'd be Newcastle who would draw first blood here. Almiron 1-0.
Livramento does really well from just outside his own box, galloping run all the way to the other end as he just shrugs aside the attentions of everybody in a red shirt, and then Dalot asleep at the far post. Nice run by Gord to drag his man away. Good finish, Almiron.
Newcastle then would make it 2-0. Hall
just drops to him really, and United don't clear the line. There's so many red jerseys back there again, and the youngster picks out the far corner. Really good finish.
Really
just
nice.
Doesn't try and hit it too hard, just picks his spot.
So how would Ten Hag's side react in the second half after being booed off at half-time? Well, more of the same, as Willock has all of Old Trafford to run into. He says thank you very much. Lovely finish.
Really nice finish by Willock. Again, one of those fringe players for Eddie Howe now against Sydney, who Eric Ten Hag seems to think is his best centre-back pairing. Finds space, finds a really easy finish.
If you want more of us, and let's face it, who wouldn't at the moment, you can join us at the full-time whistle of Manchester United against Newcastle. ESPN FC, of course, with you every day. Wow, you take a look at all those results, and it is the Manchester United score that just stands out, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just watching it behind you live, behind your shoulder. They've just brought on all, I was going to the big guns. I'm going to say the big heads.
Right.
They brought on
Bruno Fernandes is on.
I take that back. Rasmus Højlund, worker. Rashford's on. Bruno Fernandes is on. Two guys that really haven't performed. Two guys that should be taking more on their shoulders. So it's desperation stuff now. But the whole game has been desperate again in terms of viewing. You touched on that third goal from Willock there. They just let him get all the way to the edge of the box, and then Lindelof stood there as usual with the arms behind the back, and he just slides it in the corner. Shaka mentioned the first goal. Reguilón makes an overlap, Garnacho gives it away, but Livramento's still got 70 yards to run. Mason Mount makes a half-hearted challenge, and then Dalot, you're telling me he doesn't know that Almiron's on his outside. Almiron didn't start, but he came off the bench because there was an injury very early, and he's quick and he busted got to get in there, and they didn't. Once again, Manchester United didn't react. When we saw the Newcastle team, good players, but at least 7 or 8 changes from the first team, we thought, here has to be an opportunity for Man United, just to go and take the pressure off a little bit. But as we speak here with just over 20 minutes to go, it's looking comfortable for Newcastle.
Given everything we've seen from Manchester United, and yes, they've put together a couple of good results of late, but in all honesty, a lot of desperation to those results. McTominay scoring late twice, Onana saving a late penalty. So while there may have been a bit more than usual this season anyway for United to celebrate, you just wanted to see a performance. You wanted to see Manchester United, if they could put together a run and some momentum, particularly at home. against a changed Newcastle team. You've made changes yourself, but goodness me. Well, I think, and I'm really, really reaching here, some United fans may have understood if Manchester United lost. I don't think anybody accepts this kind of an inept performance against Newcastle United, another team that has made just as many changes. That, despite the competition, despite the changes, is just hard to swallow.